Good afternoon, Facebook friends and family, YouTube life. Thank you for joining us today. This is the Supported Employment and Education Program. We are presenting our Career Pathway series where we are introducing young adults to different employment opportunities and professions that they can explore on their journey to what's next in their world. Today we have Dominique Powell here um, as we focus on service. Uh, Dominique is an individual skills development provider, and she is here to talk to us about her current role. So, Dominique, can you tell us about what an individual skills development provider is, what it does? Take us through a day.
Okay, so like Wendy said, I am a individual skills development provider through Wisconsin Community Services. Um, Basically, what we do is work with our youth and young adults with like social life, if they need housing needs, employment needs. So a typical day-to-day for me, for my youth, which are my school agers, usually under the age of 18, still going to school full-time. I will usually meet with them after school. We'll meet up like libraries. For those particular clients, I usually meet with their parents because they're still minors. So with the parents, I kind of discuss goals that they want to see the young kids achieve both at home and in school. If it's just in regards to like peers or adults, mom and dad issues, pretty much like things that kids do on a day-to-day, just making sure that they're comfortable socializing, being up in front with their parents, doing good in school, things of that nature. So my target goal for those is just basically connecting with the parents and the other providers just to be a support to see what areas I can help. With my older or young adults that are 18 and older, I usually work with housing needs. So if they're like currently trying to transition into independent housing, I might help them look for apartments or apply for things like Section 8 housing, affordable housing, things that would typically pretty much be easy to get them in. I also assist with employment goals. So if they want to find a job, whether it's part-time, full-time, I usually meet the kids out in the community. So if that looks like want to go fill out job applications, just taking them around the city or whatever area that they're looking for employment, just to give them a feel on like the different things or different jobs that's around to see what best suits them. Just kind of basically going off of what they enjoy doing the most. So if I have a person that enjoys cooking or things of that nature, I might take them to fast food or dine-in restaurants that are hiring, just to get them more motivated. It's always easiest to do that when you find them a job first, where they're most interested in or hold their interest
Absolutely.
in. Other than that, too, budgeting, financial assistance. Some of my clients may come to me and say, hey Dominique, I really need to budget this month. I have a goal of, saving this amount of money. So I provide resources, whether it's community resources, printed resources, just so they can have those type of things handy to look back to. And the biggest job that I have is definitely just connecting with my community resources, getting my clients out there, knowing where they can go if they need assistance with any of those things besides myself. So like for instance, Owens Place, is a great place. I bring my clients here if they need any like individual needs like hygiene, food, bringing them here for those type of things. Place is awesome with, but just other community resources. If we need to go to the library, resume building, things of that nature. So as you guys can see, I do a pretty wide variety of jobs, kind of based off my client needs. So.
Absolutely. Can you tell me more about, you mentioned there's always goals for the family or the young person. What does some of those goals look like, sound like?
So usually we discuss goals in like like plan of care meetings, team meetings, where we'll all come together with my clients. Sometimes they can be off of, the team meeting personal goals that me and my clients may set up, but sometimes those goals may look like finding a job within 2 months, or completing your crash course classes for driver's ed, or making sure that you're meeting or taking therapy sessions weekly. It kind of all depends. Some goals can be mental stands, some can be financial stands, social stands. So it really all goes back to what is the need of the client. But most times it is like just finding a job, or some clients want to have a healthier lifestyle, so they might want to lose 50 pounds in a week. And my job is maybe to take them out in the community, get a little active. Sometimes we do YMCA trips. I might do a little workout with them. So just basically motivating them. For my younger ones, like mom and dad may say, they tend to be a little aggressive when, things don't go their way. So a goal for me might be to help my client, understand her triggers, or his or her triggers and frustration, but positive and healthy ways to deal with it, versus like taking out aggression. So it kind of ranges. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And you've mentioned being part of a team with your role. Can you explain more about that?
Yes, so usually a team with my clients consists of me, which is an individual skills development provider. But then we also have care coordinators, we have therapists, we have other mentors that might join our team. So we collectively kind of work as a group to just help support the client.
Okay, so each client and their family has kind of a treatment team to support their need or their goals for coming into the program.
Correct. And sometimes, I've been on teams where it's just myself and a care coordinator, but I've also been on teams as big as having 2 individual skills development providers and, 2 different therapists, an individual and an art therapist. So it kind of all depends like on the need of the client. We tend to just add more providers in as time goes along if we see the need to, build the team. So it all depends on the needs of the client, basically.
Beautiful. What brought you to this job, this career, this lane of helping and being a supportive service of professional help to families and community? Tell us about that.
Ooh, okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit personal with you guys. I lost my mom when I was a baby. I was 5 months, she was 19. But once I was able to like fully understand, what happened and what type of person she was actually in college for criminal justice. I really didn't know exactly what part of the field, she wanted to go in. I just, heard these stories of how sweet she was. And of course, so I was raised by my grandmother, my mom's mom. She was a beautiful and an amazing woman. And just throughout my years of being raised by her, all I seen her do was help people, help other kids, help other families. And I used to always look at her like, Granny, how you doing that? And and she like, baby, don't worry about it, it's in my heart. And as I got older, I started to pick up on that. I want to help everyone, and I wish I could change the world. And so I'm like, hey, what can I do? Pick up where my mom left off. So went to college, got my bachelor's degree, and ever since then, I've definitely been in the social work field. I love working with youth, families, young adults. I pretty much had every type of social work job you can really think of. I've been a lead teacher. I did residential care with youth that's in the system with no stable housing, so I did that. I also did like drug and alcohol treatments with adults, and doing family drug treatment court to help families get their kids back. I also worked for Child Protective Services, so just helping those family kids stay safe, So pretty much social services has been like my heart since I graduated college, and all I can think about is just wanting to get out and help the community, help the kids. A lot of kids, they don't have positive role models and mentors, and people that they can actually look up to guide them in a more positive direction. For our minorities per se, a lot of them are missing fathers or mothers, and are raised by grandparents who really can't pick up the slack of what the parents would have been able to do. So as my job, as a provider, I just try to come in. I want to make my clients' lives easier. I want to make their family lives easier. I want to see growth. I want to see development. And the best part of my job is knowing that I helped a kid or I helped a parent change themselves or grow or better. It's always the best feeling when I hear someone say, Dominique, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have did this. I wouldn't have been motivated. I wouldn't have been determined. So it's just the drive. It's the push for me. I love seeing where people can go and where people can head, and just let them know, whatever cards you're dealt with in life, it doesn't have to be your final destination. And I'm kind of living testimony of that. You kind of take what, you're dealt with and you run with it, and, you make something positive out of it. So mine is just working with my community, with my families and my youth, to let them know it's positive people out here, it's positive role models, and we can all help you be successful.
Absolutely, absolutely. You talk about the growth and development and change and better. Those are some of the elements that keep you fueled. So on your teams, where you're working with the families, what kind of growth, development, change, and betterment have you seen from young people and families participating in supportive services?
For instance, for me per se, one of my biggest accomplishments and growth for one of my clients was just knowing, that he was in a dark place for a very long time. No family contact, pretty much on a homeless type of bound for a while. And, I helped him get his first apartment. So we talk about, growth and development. Now we're on the road of helping him live independently, help him become more independent where, he doesn't have to utilize his providers as much, and he's, learning how to become a man and live on his own. So growth and, goals like that. For my young ones, it's just seeing them do episodes 3 to 4 times a week where they're spazzing out and, getting calls home from school, where we go to a week where mom or dad is calling and saying, hey, Dominique, what you talk to them about works. They have had no calls home or only one this week, versus the 3, 4 that they had. So it's just different goals. It all boils down again to what the client needs are. So.
Right. It sounds like you bring that passion to the space with the young person or their family. Do you think that makes the difference?
Definitely. And two, for this position, it helps to be a provider that's passionate about what you do. It gets the families more involved. It makes the youth want to participate more, versus, when you have someone that just comes in just to do a job. Me, I'm different. As you guys can see, I'm very passionate about what I do. I get a client and instantly I'm trying to figure out what services they need. How can I help this family? What is mom or dad or what is the individual looking to improve in their life, or what can make things better, so that's for me. And like I indicated, the passion just comes from, seeing the growth and the development and the change in, these individuals that I service and work with.
Yes.
And you work in the field, like you said, in a lot of different roles, doing many different things. What is different about this role that kind of keeps you there?
I think for this one, the current position I'm in, the clients that I receive are voluntary. So, they're not, forced to work with me, or, it's not mandatory that I be on their team. So for me, that's one of the best parts about the job that I have, because to me, that helps my job a little bit more easier. We usually say, well, you can't help someone that don't want to help themselves. So, with my clients being voluntary, I have that mentality like, oh, well, they're coming in because they want the help, so let me help them. Versus, like some of my other positions, kids were kind of just thrown there. School, of course, or the system, those are places they have to be. This particular position, my clients are there because they want to be. And so that kind of, makes my job a little bit easier too.
Absolutely, that makes sense. Did you?
No.
Okay, and for this specific position, again, we're trying to reach a number of individuals who have different types of backgrounds, education. What are the requirements for your position to be in your role right now?
High school diploma.
Okay.
College is preferred, but it's not required.
Okay.
They just really, prefer that people come in, they're, they can drive, outspoken, people person, because, we do a lot of transporting clients and things like that. So picking them up for appointments, or like I indicated, if they want to go job searching or apartment searching. So you do have to have a valid driver's license to be able to hold this position. But other than that, it's really, it all depends on how you come in and rock it. Like I said, as long as you have that high school diploma, that driver's license, that drive, you're pretty much, the training is there. They come in and when you come in, they train you, you get all these trainings, you get shadow opportunities. So those will probably be just the biggest thing. You need to have that high school diploma, that driver's license, and basically just the drive to want to service your community.
What does that training look like to prepare someone fresh out of high school, right? To go, you're seasoned, you've been in a lot of the different positions, so you have a skill set that's already kind of built when you came into this particular position. What does the training look like to prepare one to be on a team, a support to a team?
So there is a lot of virtual training. Obviously due to COVID, it used to be in person, but they do train you on a lot of things. You take trainings like on trauma-informed care, so you're learning how to deal with clients that have trauma and their families. Cultural relevance, so they're teaching you, how to be in tune with all the different cultures and backgrounds. You take interpersonal training, so they kind of teach you, how to be a well-rounded individual. Just so many different ones, and like I said, the shadowing opportunity, that's really the most important ones, because when you come in, they're actually taking you around, so you're actually firsthand seeing what the job is like. But a lot of like virtual trainings just to get you going on the social work field, and just the things you kind of encounter. Nothing too scary at all. So if this is where your passion is, then this is definitely a position, or any position in the social work field.
Okay. What does your day look like with the different clients and how many families you're working with? What is your week look like? What does a work week look like here in schools, and then you're in the community? What does that look like?
So we kind of vary from like our caseload. I am currently at a full caseload, so I have 8 clients. I'm usually seeing 2 to 3 clients a day for an hour. It can be anywhere from an hour to 3 hours, really. Depending on what services, I could be taking them grocery shopping, or they might need to run to Walmart, or I'm taking them to an interview or to a therapy session. So it really depends. Usually I'm seeing my school agers after school, and we do light stuff like library time, or we might just discuss what happened at home during the week, or how is school going, and just talking about bullying awareness, just different things. My older or young adults, I typically have a little bit more availability with them, because they're either working or kind of at home, not doing nothing, trying to get a plan going for themselves. So with those, I usually allow like my youth or young adults that have a job to kind of tell me what their schedule is, what day works for them. And that's how I kind of get them in their schedule. But what works for me is kind of giving everybody their faithful day. So if I meet you on Tuesday this week, we're going Tuesday for the rest of the month. Unless something happens, because also with this job, it comes a lot of documentation. You gotta put in notes. That's your receipts for everything. So in addition to all the fun stuff you do, the outings and stuff, there is notation, documentation involved. Nothing too bad. You're kind of just going in the system, kind of putting in what you did with your clients for the day, how things went, goals you discussed, future plans that you may have. So Mondays I typically use as my documentation day. I get all my notes in, reschedule visits for the week if I have to, and do my check-ins for over the weekend just to kind of see how things went. But yeah, pretty much it's like a consistent thing for me.
Do you see your families on the weekends?
I typically don't, unless, there's something where, that's the only time I may be able to see them, or I'm not opposed to, being open to my families if there's an emergency. A few of my clients, like their parents know that they can reach out, via text or, just that open. I'm pretty much open to that, but I also am a mom myself, so I typically try to let my weekends be for me and my families, because, that's important too, right? But other than that, if they need me, I'm pretty much there.
So, and that's a good point to make. A lot of young people, looking into different professions, that's important information. Like, hey, am I going to have, opportunity to balance, home and work, right? And so you get your weekends with your families, you get the evenings with your families to focus on motherhood and the needs of your children. So
yes.
That's a good point to make.
From going back to the interpersonal development piece, how has this role helped Dominique the person?
Oh, it has definitely helped me grow as an individual. I've learned to, just dealing with my clients, not be so big on things that I can't control. Know that I do my best to help, and sometimes my best may not be enough, but not being so hard on myself when things don't go as planned, but just also growing as an individual as far as to other people, being more open and letting people become more vulnerable and more comfortable with me, just learning how to keep my personal, and work experience, because sometimes, taking work home can be a big deal too. So over, this time I definitely have learned how to keep work separate from, bringing it home, but also, like I said, just knowing, when my best is my best, and, if it's not, that I definitely tried. It used to be a time where, if I couldn't succeed at helping someone do something, whether it was on my part or their end, I used to really beat me up, because I'm like, I'm the type of person, I need this done, they need this done, whatever it is I need to do, I will do it to help them. But just, from previous and prior experiences, just knowing that my best is enough.
And then from like a professional standpoint, like your now self, what advice would you give fresh out of college, you coming into this field?
The best advice I can give is come in with an open mind, an open heart, because in this field you tend to work with so many different people of different cultures, different backgrounds. So you have to come in being a well-rounded individual, not coming in being biased, and just learning how to understand, learning how to listen. Because a lot of times, as providers, we might think we know it all, but just, allowing our clients and our families to just vent and open up and, like I said, feel comfortable so that you're able to service them the best way possible. And just, coming in, having that open mind of open relationships with all, people, kids, adults, because you're going to work with, both. So, just from a professional standpoint, just actually coming in and being open, enjoying what you do and have a passion for, because that's what definitely will make your job a lot easier.
Yes. So in regards to like skills, I know we talked about the requirements to get into this particular, the individual skills development provider position. But you talked about some of the other skills that are really helpful in you being successful on a team. So knowing a lot of different community resources, being able to work as a team, passion.
Yes.
What others do you think are good to have?
For sure, communication skills. You have to be able to effectively communicate with the people that you're working with. Active listening skills, that's definitely something to learn to pick up if you don't have those skills. And by active, that means you're actually taking in what the client or what the family is asking of you or is telling you, what services they need. What other skills?
And this with the communication that you said, it sounds like it's both that verbal and written.
Yes,
right?
for sure.
Okay.
Because like I indicated, there's a lot of documentation with this. That's your paper trail. So just being able to effectively write down notes. You might have to write something for a client.
Mm-hmm.
I have not yet, but you may be subpoenaed for court one day. You might have to write a court document. So just being able to be well-rounded with your communication. You're going to work with other providers, so not just yourself. Different agencies and companies, we all come together. So just being able to be open and well-rounded with the people that you work with and service as well.
Absolutely.
For people working in the helping field, what would you offer as far as ideas for them to take care of themselves while in this field? Like, what are ways they can self-care while being a good support person to those in the community?
I would say just knowing when just knowing when it's time for a break. Having those self-care days or hours or whatever it looks like set aside for yourself. Knowing that it's okay when you need to take a step back from things and you're having an overwhelming day. But just knowing that they can continue to kind of push through and just pretty much get their job done.
You have any questions for Dominique?
No, I do not.
Okay, all right. What else would you like to leave with anyone who's interested in being a professional support to youth and families? What else would you want to leave with them?
I would say if it is your passion to service youth, families, your community, definitely go for it. This is a career field with so many different positions, opportunities, and areas for growth and development. Like I indicated, I changed positions various of times, and each time it was serving my community. So just knowing that it's okay to find what the right social work position is for you, because there's so many different ones out. But other than that, it's a passion of mine, and I hope that whoever else comes in doesn't mind serving the community and has a passion for it just as much as myself.
And where's your agency? I know that you just said the name. What was the name of the agency you work with again?
Wisconsin Community Services.
All right, all right. Well,
Yeah.
we thank you so much, Dominique, for coming in today. We appreciate all of the service and support.
Thank you guys
that
for
you
having
give.
me.
Absolutely.
And if you guys have any additional questions, Wendy, Liz, you guys shoot them over to me. I'm pretty much open. I want kids and young adults to be successful post-school, whether it's high school, college. So if you guys need any information or any support, please, I am definitely here to reach out and help our upcoming and growing young adults in the community.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you.
Dominique.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.